ultra Tuscan orange grapefruit. My God, America is imploding.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mayhem at the Multiplex 4. That's right. As the Macaw will say in a later video, there have been 4 of these. You'll see that in another video coming up soon. So, guys, welcome to Mayhem at the Multiplex. Today we have the Fanzone title match for you here. Very excited to be here. I'm looking forward to this. We see the return of Jacoby Bancroft. Has not been here since he won the title in December of 2020, everyone's favorite year of life. And Kirk has made his way through the tournament from the number 1 seed all the way here to win the finals of the tournament against Amaru to now play Jacoby. This is kind of the outcome I was most looking forward to, and it happened. So here we are. Cody, you're here to judge. How are you doing, sir, and what do you think of the match?
How am I doing this for a whole nother talk show like that I would sit across and I'd have to lay down on the couch for a therapist to hear me. How this match is going to be a ton of fun. Kirk was the 1 seed. He kind of beat the shit out of everybody else. He made his way through Bar, Amaru, but now he faces
2 KOs.
Now he plays the person that beat you, which we thought for a while was impossible to do. So he's got another tough defense. Will ring rust be a factor? He's kind of became a celebrity in these past few months that we saw him. So, and I know that he's going to hate me saying that because I'm going to have fun with it. But Kirk, the grizzled Fan League veteran, coming out. We'll see what happens tonight. But yeah, this should go the distance. I don't expect this match to be an easy walk for either one of them. I expect it to be very passionate, very angry at times. And we didn't have to write a Romero question. So, Kirk, you're a good guy, and we appreciate you. So, yeah.
That's true. Boatman, you're here as the 3rd judge tonight. Thank you for being here, sir. How are you feeling about the matchup?
I'm glad you added about the matchup. This should be really fun. Kirk, he's an excellent debater, and I was one of Jacoby's wins back when this was called a different thing, and it was more geek movie centric, and we had Game of Thrones questions in. But yeah, I think that this should be a fun match. Let's just get into it.
All right, so let's start by talking to the challenger, the number 1 seed of the tournament, Kirk. You are here. You've made your way through the whole tournament. I remember back in the first match, you were not happy that you had to play Joe, and now you made your way all the way through the tournament, got 2 knockouts along the way to play Jacoby for the title. Tell me how you're feeling about potentially bringing a title home for the faction tonight.
I feel good. I'm excited about this. This is something, I mean, I know I've been on, trivia has been my thing for so long. But long before I was watching the Schmodown and fantasizing about doing that, I was watching movie fights. So this has always been another passion for me. And to be in this spot is really exciting. And to play Jacoby is great. I'm continuing my Club Dread Revenge tour. I'm going to wipe out everybody who left us for the Schmodown. Get our revenge that way. So we took out Amaru. Jacoby's next.
Awesome. And yes, Jacoby is here. The current champion of the Fanzone division, Jacoby. Yes, I know that you did bring the belt home, but then you left the home, but you kept the belt anyway. Jacoby, like you said before we started rolling, been a while since you've been here. How are you feeling about going up against Kirk? And what have you been doing debate-wise to prep yourself in these months?
A lot, so much. I was very short-sighted when I won the belt about 18 months ago or whatever, how long I did that. 'Cause I was so excited that I didn't have to do this for a while. But now I'm going up against somebody who has just completely had a ton of practice, destroying absolutely everybody in his path. So, the nerves that I haven't felt for so long are back in action. And it's Kirk. Of all people, of course, it's freaking Kirk. So this is either going to be a really good day for me or a really bad day for me. And either way, I'm excited. Going to have some fun. Roxy couldn't be here tonight, so I'm sorry about that, Cody. But maybe next time. I know she's supporting me in spirit, but it doesn't matter because the title is still in Club Dread. It's still a Club Dread title. It's still part of it. You can't kick me out. Okay, oh God. Okay, ready. Focus.
Sounds good. Well, guys, here's how this is going to work in the title match format. We gave the competitors 5 prep questions instead of 4 based off of categories that they drafted. I'm not even going to read it until I'm done explaining the rules, so I don't laugh. So we gave them those questions. They are going to debate the questions before us judges. They will get 1 minute to open their arguments, followed by a 5-minute freeform debate, followed by a 1-minute closing for each competitor. The first competitor to get to the score of 4 tonight will be the winner. If we get through all 5 of the prep questions, we will go to bonus questions, which we have 2 if we need be get through them. So, gentlemen, are there any questions before we get into the first question of the night?
Ready?
Nope.
All
We're
right.
ready to do this. Bring it on, Kirk.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
All right, boys. The first question is going to come to you from the category of John Carpenter. I believe there was another category that it actually came from directors, but John Carpenter by Jacoby. The question is, what is the best scene in a non-fandom Carpenter-directed film? So no Halloween. So this was chosen, like I said, by Jacoby. Jacoby, you are going to get 1 minute to open your argument. I will come in and give you a 10-second warning when the time comes. Your minute starts when you start talking.
Okay, the best scene in a Carpenter-directed movie is Jack Burton killing Lo Pan in Big Trouble in Little China. The reason this is the absolute best is because besides being hilarious and insane, it works on both an individual, enjoyable scene level and pays off one of the best character arcs in any John Carpenter film. Jack Burton is a side character who thinks he's the main character and constantly screws up absolutely everything he does. He keeps putting himself in action movie situations and fails. So in the final showdown, when he has a chance to kill Lo Pan the cool way, he obviously completely messes up. But then, once he's underestimated, he's able to kill Lo Pan in the most Jack Burton way possible, where he didn't try to think of a plan or something clever. He let his reflexes do the talking. Jack is just as surprised when Lo Pan dies, thanks to his quick reflexes. And the way the scene is edited, composed, the costume design, the room that it's all in adds to this wonderful final confrontation, and it's Carpenter's best scene by far.
Time. All right. We'll move over to Kirk for your 1 minute opening whenever you start talking.
When you ask the best scene in a John Carpenter movie, there's really 2 criteria. It's what's the best scene in the movie and what's the just best John Carpenter scene. I think my selection encompasses both of those. I picked the blood test scene from The Thing. This is pure John Carpenter. This is a scene that is just a masterclass in horror and tension and fear. The way it is directed, the way it is shot, the acting, the lack of score, everything about this scene is just built to make you feel a certain way and to make you have a certain reaction. And Carpenter is just a master of that. Carpenter has a history of fantastic horror movies, fantastic thrillers. And this right here, if you want to show somebody exactly what makes John Carpenter so great, you show him this scene. It is a great ensemble scene. It takes a great cast and really puts them all in the best situation possible. The use of special effects versus very naturalistic acting and situations is just beautiful. It's his best scene.
Time. All right. 5 minute freeform. One of you starts talking. Remember, don't talk over each other. I'll give you a 1 minute warning and a 10-second warning. Have fun.
Okay, Jacoby, the first thing I want to bring up here is you mentioned the way the scene is edited and composed. As I watch this scene, it is my biggest problem with it is the way it's edited, the way it's composed. There's no real time of censor space. You come in and you're looking at Lo Pan. It's a flat shot. You have a statue in the foreground, making you think Jack is looking around the corner. When we cut to Jack, he's in the middle of the room. A fight starts for a few seconds. Wang jumps in out of nowhere, and then they fight for a few seconds, and Wang and Thunder literally disappear to wherever, nowhere, somewhere. They're just gone. It's not set up where they go or how they go. They're just gone. And it's just the scene is edited poorly. You don't have a good sense of time and space or what's going on.
See, okay, you talk about like poor editing and poor everything about the scene, but it's like on the surface, there's more going on in my scene than your scene. On the surface, your scene is good and full of tension, but if you actually stop to like look at it, it's an absolute just mess of poor placement in the movie, poor character decisions, and is hindered by its resolution of the scene. When you're talking about placement of scenes that don't make sense, I hate in your scene how they do the blood. They talk about the blood test at minute 57, and it takes them an hour and 20-minute mark for them to actually do it. It's a bad lead up, and then it's fumbled by the way that they introduce these characters. It doesn't work as a scene by itself because we don't know any of these characters. The thing is revealed to be a character who we don't even know his name. It's random bearded guy number 4, and it completely wipes out any sort of investment we have because all we know about any of these characters at this point is that they're kind of assholes.
Okay, you say it's random guy. That's what's beautiful about it. First of all, I answer the placement in the movie. Placement in the movie doesn't really make it to talk about the scene itself where it's placed in the movie. That's really everything with the scene. But the fact that it's random guy, the way that this scene subverts your expectations, the scene is set up. First of all, you're introduced. You learn so much of these characters, the way it's shot, the way the camera pans as McCready's talking. You see the characters and their reaction, what they're feeling. Not only are you seeing, maybe it's the real reaction, maybe it's a thing you don't know, but each actor is doing a lot of stuff as the camera's panning. Then you start to, there's a bunch of misdirect. Gary is the target. We think it's Gary. Gary's acting very suspicious. We start doing the blood test. Palmer's a second thought. He's not even looking at Gary. Gary gives our Palmer. Palmer kind of gets like, oh, Wellstein. We don't suspect him at all. And then the blood goes in, and then the crap hits the fan, and it's crazy. It's a beautifully crafted scene. It's not. I won't even call it a jump scare. It's not fair to call it a jump scare. It's just one of the greatest scares in movies.
Yeah, because you say we can learn a lot about these characters. You know what we learn about these characters is that they're all idiots. I can break down this scene and explain how every character acted like an idiot out of it for the sake of trying to make a suspenseful scene. The reason the thing Palmer could have broken out like at any time, he could have done that, but only wait until he's caught. And then for some reason, McGreedy just stands there like an idiot with the flamethrower and doesn't burn the thing while it's breaking out or when it's savagely killing windows because the movie needs that to happen. Then your scene keeps going after that. After that, they find the thing, they have to go back and test the old guy, which we know as an audience that that's not going to happen. It's such an insult to characters having to act stupid for the sake of the scene itself. While compared to my scene, where you talk about where it's centered fully on Jack Burton's character arc, it works as an individual scene, but also as a lead up to such a great character moment to hear, where you think he's going to screw up, where you think he's not going to do it, where he does screw up, and then he does the most Jack Burton awesome thing in an already insane, kooky movie. You talk about how my scene doesn't make sense and how it's all over the place. That's the movie itself. That's indicative of something, an anomaly that Carpenter did with this movie. It's a different take on something he does. You said it yourself, where Carpenter is a master of horror. This does a lot. He does a lot of horror. He does a lot of things. This scene could fit anywhere. It's any type of horror scene. This is an anomaly. It's different. It stands out, and it's special.
A couple of things. The flamethrower was established as being broken. That's why I couldn't shoot it. Second of all, the scene, my scene is a short story. That's why you need that end, that closure, that kind of dark humor at the end. It's the beginning, middle, end. You can watch my scene with no context, know exactly what's going on.
1 minute.
It's a beautifully set scene. Your scene, you keep talking about the whole movie character arcs doesn't matter. It's when you look at the scene's kind of a mess. It's shot very flat. It's flat comedy shots. He throws the knife. There's that wah-wah. It's just anybody could have directed this. There's no signature. There's no trademark. You're talking about scenes that could be anywhere. Anybody. Brett Ratner could have directed your scene. There's no style, there's no substance to it. It's a very flat scene. My scene is beautiful. The way it's lit, the way everybody's eyes are lit, except Palmer's, give you that little hint. That closure at the end, like I said, mine is a short story. Mine is compassed. You get a full experience with my movie. Yours is just a really quick, flat action scene with a few jokes, and it's not indicative of Carpenter.
All right. Okay, good. You're done. Okay, so no, it's not a short story. Your scene is if you take it by yourself and you show it to somebody, it's no tension because the characters suck. The characters aren't likable. You're not invested in anybody. You don't know what anybody's motivated. You don't know what they're like, or what they're doing. Everything. My scene is actually better with Jack Burton focused on the center of it, doing better things.
doing better things. Strike it from the record.
Strike the better thing. Just think Jack Burton doing, and then don't say what I said afterwards.
All right. Kirk, you get to close first. You have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
Jacoby's trying to make this argument about the movie. The argument is about the scene. If you want to bring in Jack Burton's arc, whatever, that's fine. But that is not what this. When we're looking at the scene, his scene is very imperfect. Like I said, he didn't answer anything about the editing, the way it's shot, the way it's so flat. It's very boring. There's really no excitement. It's a very general comic action scene. My scene is unique. There's a reason when you watch this video, when I said my scene, you knew exactly what I was talking about. You had to go Google Jacoby's scene because it's like so forgettable. There's nothing really there. My scene is one of the all-time great masterclasses in horror. The characters are terrified. That's what's great about the scene, is because they are acting naturally. They're acting stupid because they're scared. That's what people do. They're not acting like characters in horror movies. It's very naturally the lack of score versus as I said, those fantastic practical effects, those great John Carpenter practical effects of the thing. So much going on in this movie, so much in this scene. The Jacoby scene just does not live up. It's not special. There's nothing to go back to. It's not fun.
Time. All right. Jacoby, you now have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
The blood test scene is good on the surface, but if you actually break it down, I just think it's a mess of poor plotting, stupid characters, plot convenience, and it's so generic that it could fit in almost any Carpenter horror movie. My scene in Big Trouble is an anomaly. Yes, it's different than what he does, but the reason it is the best scene, because Kirk thinks I'm thinking about the whole movie. No, I'm not. I'm thinking of two different things. I'm thinking of how it works as an individual scene by itself. It's just an awesome moment, and how it fits as a natural conclusion to the movie up to that. It leads up. It builds up to this one moment, and that's what makes it so great. It's an logical, very earned payoff that again works as its own and overall. So that's why it's Carpenter's best scene. We have two versions of Kurt Russell here. Both of our scenes deal with Kurt Russell in action mode, but while The Thing undercuts McReady's badassness, I think for plot convenience, just to give us a good body scare type horror, Big Trouble actually delivers an unforgettable final action moment that fits so well with the character itself and the movie. Big Trouble is a cult classic, and it's because of scenes like this. It's not edited poorly because it's focused specifically on these two characters and everything that it's been building up to.
Oh, Lord. This is how all of tonight's going to go, boys.
How many more of these do we got?
A lot.
With how this is going, a lot.
I'm sorry.
Tim, it's question one. Let's go.
I know. That's what is killing me.
Whoever you vote for, they can make up the ground. Come on.
Okay, and I get to go first, so woohoo. Okay, so at the end of the day, this was really, really close. I went with Kirk. I think Kirk did a better job of tearing down Jacoby's scene. I thought his point about we're talking about the scene and not the whole movie was really strong, and Jacoby actually kind of fed into that in his closing for me by saying it was the great conclusion of the movie. That didn't really matter to me because we were talking about the singular scene. So it was really close, though. I really could have gone either way, but I went with Kirk there at the end. So Cody, where are you going?
Well, let's see if this is a trend tonight, because I'm going to disagree with you. I went with Jacoby. Jacoby painted it a different way, which some would say is a scene, but he tied it in, and I think his closing explained it to me, because before that I was like, Kirk's like pretty much hitting on it, but how the scene works in the movie I think should have some weight to it, and I think he described it. I think they both threw barbs, but Jacoby just edged it out for me.
All right, Boatman, where are you going?
I think I'm going with Kirk. I think Jacoby argued the scene in context of the movie, where Kirk argued for the scene itself, which in and of itself is not like necessarily the one for Kirk, but I think that combined with the hits on the editing and the actual technical aspect of the scene, that I don't feel like Jacoby really countered well.
All right, so Kirk wins point number 1. We're going to move on to
See
question.
my name on your board? It's wrong. Like if you see your name, you're probably in the opposite.
So we are going to move on to the next question, which is coming to you from the category of, as I pull it back up, it's coming to you the category of classics, specifically Kurosawa, drafted by Mr. Kirk. And the question is very simply, what is the best classic Kurosawa film? We are going to start with Kirk since he drafted this. Kirk, you have 1 minute to open when you start talking.
If you know me, then you know this is a hard pick for me, but I ultimately picked Yojimbo as the best classic Kurosawa film. Yojimbo is just, it encapsulates the best of everything that Kurosawa does. It's his best samurai movie. It is starring Toshiro Mifune, his muse, the best actor he worked with, and Mifune in this creates his best character. It is a great hero. It's the best hero that Kurosawa's created. It has his best. It has the best cinematography of any Kurosawa movie. It has the best score. It has heart. It has humor. It's funny. It's sad. It's tense. It runs through a gamut of emotions. It has great supporting characters. It has great fights. Some of the best sword fights in Kurosawa movies. It takes everything Kurosawa does and puts it in one beautiful little package. Ties a great little bow on it. Yojimbo is Kurosawa's best film.
Time. All right. We will move over to Jacoby, who now has 1 minute when he starts talking.
Okay, picking the best Kurosawa film and arguing over why one film is better than the other is incredibly difficult. Both of our picks, I think, are pretty much kind of cinematic masterpieces, and it's hard to find a lot of story or visual faults with either. So I think the way to pick the best Kurosawa film is to pick the film that best represents what Kurosawa was capable of as a director, and pick the one that went on to inspire basically all your favorite modern cinema. Seven Samurai is a true epic in every sense of the word, and it was the original. The now super common recruit heroes to defend the weak became popular because of this movie. And even though a lot of us probably saw all like the remakes and the influences, even the funny ones like Three Amigos, Bugs Life, Magnificent Seven, all before seeing the original, it doesn't make the original any less captivating. Its characters, its cinematography, and sense of scope is amazing. That's the magic of Kurosawa, and it's why this film is his crowning achievement and by far his best film. Oh, it's 5 seconds.
You can stop.
Samurai rules. Actors are great. Toshiro Mifune.
All right. All right, guys. 5 minutes when one of you starts talking.
All right, so Kirk, I think my biggest thing about Yojimbo is that it's missing, I think, the epicness that something like Seven Samurai brings to the table. It's a fantastic movie, but you don't walk away from it truly believing that I think you saw something kind of unique or special. It's not the best representation of what Kurosawa could do. And it's not necessarily even like original. It's not that much of a Kurosawa film because it's very clear and has been said that Shane, which came out like 5 or 6 years earlier, was a big inspiration for Yojimbo. And I prefer when other directors like remake Kurosawa rather than Kurosawa remaking other directors. That's why Seven Samurai I think is just the better film.
Okay, I'll get to your first point. I would say that with the epicness, yeah, you're right. My movie's not 3.5 hours long, so yeah, I will give you that. This movie is long. That's one of its weak points. I know so many people who have tried to start this movie can't finish it. So yes, my movie is shorter and more concise. You talk about inspiration. Seven Samurai was inspired by John Ford and a lot of other people that came from the Kurosawa had that through all his career. My movie, just as much. My movie is Fistful of Dollars. It's the Man with No Name trilogy. It's Mad Max. Anytime you see in a movie somebody show up in a town and protect a drifter come to town and protect the people in that town from the danger in it, that's Yojimbo. So my movie is, if we're talking about if the benchmark is as much as it's been imitated and as much as it's been recreated, Yojimbo is right up there with Seven Samurai as far as the what has inspired since.
I hate your opening argument. It says like shorter makes it better and more accessible. That's not the question. You're saying it's like best Kurosawa film. The best Kurosawa film is more Kurosawa.
I have a list.
You have a
No,
list-
the best Kurosawa is the most. Just the longest Kurosawa is not the most Kurosawa. This movie is long. It meanders.
All right. No,
is-
it does not meander. Okay, hold on. Because what Seven Samurai did is actually pretty awesome. It's that Yojimbo had it easy. Take one character, make him interesting. Seven Samurai not only had seven samurai to make interesting, but all of its farmers. And it does that. Even though it's an older black and white film with actors, like most of us don't recognize, the film does a perfect job of making every single character well-serviced and fleshed out. Find me another movie nowadays where seven main characters get enough screen time.
I will disagree with you, sir. The characterization on these samurai are very uneven. Some of them are fleshed out. Some of them are not at all. Some of them are just there to die at the end. The farmers, you bring up the farmer characters, the most annoying. If you have not seen Seven Samurai, it's the seven samurai go to protect a village full of Jar Jar Binks. This movie starts with the farmers screaming and crying. They are obnoxious the whole way through. They are the weakest part of this. Now,
they need help. There are people who need help, who need to be portrayed as weak and overcome their weakness to fight at the end, which they do. They learn to get there.
You have to sit with them for a long time before you get those samurai. You talk about the characters. What Yojimbo does, it takes the bloated Seven Samurai and it condenses it down into a very neat, very watchable, just as good movie. Toshiro Mifune, the best part of Seven Samurai, without a doubt, the best character in that movie, you get him. And you get him completely fleshed out. You focus on him. You don't have other side characters who are just taking up time and space and not really doing anything. You have him. You have other supporting characters who contribute much more to the story than anyone does in Seven Samurai.
You're saying Toshiro Mifune, who's also in my movie, who's also great, this is the far better role for him to be in, but he also has Takashi Shimura in it to bounce off of, the level-headed one, the wise samurai, for him to learn and grow with. That's why this group works so well together. Yojimbo is just him. He's kind of a jerk, and he's around a bunch of bad guys in order to do it. And at the end of the day, it's that you say 100. It's a shorter movie. It's also much slower. It's the only one that was remade into the Western. Fistful of Dollars. Fistful of Dollars is the more enjoyable movie to watch here. You don't get that with Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai is, yes, it's long and there's a lot happening, but because it's so rich in everything that it does, with its story, with its characters, with its sense of scope, with its epicness. It's Kurosawa all doing everything that he is meant to do overall, not a pared down story. I don't want to water down Kurosawa.
Seven Samurai. If you want to make that, I will say Magnificent Seven is probably better than Seven Samurai then, because it's more accessible, more enjoyable. Kurosawa, as from a directing standpoint, from a cinematography standpoint, does everything that he does in Seven Samurai in Yojimbo. You have the epic views, the landscapes, the cinematography. It's a smaller story, but visually it's just as epic. You don't need
the town. You have the town Yojimbo is in with the two warring sides. Seven Samurai has the village and the surrounding forest and the villages around that. It's much bigger. It's everything that Kurosawa could do as a director.
I want to talk about your third act problems. Your third act, which takes a long time to get there and lasts too long, is you have situations where it's a fight happens again. It's just very repetitive, your entire third act. It's
because
a mess.
All the characters getting to the point of, after spending so much time with them, doing so well.
All right, Jacoby, you get to close first. You have 1 minute to close when you start talking.
I think the best Kurosawa film is the one that shows what Kurosawa could really do as a filmmaker. Seven Samurai is not only a near perfect movie, even though it's long, but it could, because it has these amazing characters, incredible action, heartfelt and funny moments, and just amazing direction with an excellent score, but also to be able to see how the film influenced all your favorite movies. All the big ones have paid homage to Seven Samurai. Star Wars took dialogue almost directly from it. Lord of the Rings mimicked framing from it for the Battle of Helm's Deep. Tarantino took inspiration of it. Mad Max Fury Road, which Kirk mentioned earlier, it literally lifted an entire scene from Seven Samurai for Mad Max Fury Road. It's the best Kurosawa film for not only being a grand, epic-defining landmark film and great samurai movie overall, but for how it still influences filmmaking today. That is why Seven Samurai is the best Kurosawa film by far, and nothing even comes close for this. It's the best. Yojimbo is a good movie, but honestly, that's all it is. But Seven Samurai is the best Kurosawa film.
Time. I almost said pens down. That's wrong league. Kirk, you now have 1 minute when you start talking.
Jacoby keeps making this about legacy. Yojimbo has just as big as legacy as Seven Samurai. Every action hero, every tight-lipped, quiet anti-hero, action hero, you kind of get Han Solo's based on Yojimbo. He wants to talk about Star Wars. It's just their legacy is even if Yojimbo might even not have a leg up. But basically, Yojimbo takes everything that Seven Samurai does and shrinks it down into a much more accessible package, much more enjoyable package, much more watchable package, rewatchability. I know that's not everything, but it's a big part of it. Any complaint you have about any complaint you have about Yojimbo, you can make about Seven Samurai. Anything good you have to say about Seven Samurai, you can say about Yojimbo. But the opposite is not true. There's a lot wrong with Seven Samurai that Yojimbo cleans up. It came much later in Kurosawa's career. He was a much more mature, developed filmmaker, and he was much less. It's much less of his vanity and him showing, oh, look what I can do. He does so much with so much more. It's a beautiful looking movie. It's great characters. It's great action, funny, heart, fantastic score, better score than Seven Samurai.
Oh, my Lord.
I specifically did not do I usually do my hair for these, and I realized that I just get super sweaty and it doesn't matter.
All right, Boatman, you get to go first. Are we all good? We're all good? Okay, go ahead, Boatman.
For me, it was pretty clear-cut, Kirk. I think that Jacoby spent a whole lot of time, a good chunk of his arguments on the legacy and this movie's reference here, here, and here. And I think Kirk kind of just said Yojimbo has that too and was able to make a lot more points outside of that. So I'm going to point to Kirk.
Okay, Cody looks confused. I'm excited to get yelled at because I also went with Kirk. I thought that it was really close the whole time, but honestly, Jacoby's closing didn't really work for me, and I thought Kirk's closing was super, super strong with saying that everything that is wrong that Seven Samurai does bad, Yojimbo just does better, and it was more polished film by the time that it was made. So I went with Kirk. Cody, you don't seem happy. Tell us why.
Look at that poker face.
I just think my hearing's fucking broke. I don't understand. Kirk, so I've always said debate is 50% preparation, 50% bullshit. And that's literally what I heard Kirk the entire time. Well, it's all this massive, it's huge, and it's lesser, and blah, blah, blah. He just painted a bunch of things that were fucking false about this movie and just painted it out there. Oh, Jacoby, he was able to debate it. He's like, yeah, but you get that with Yojimbo, but less time. Like, I don't understand why less time makes it bad. Like, it's weird. But apparently I'm fucking Jacoby, you suck. I don't know what you're doing, but
I
be
did.
better.
Thank you, Cody.
You're only convincing one person at this desk, not two, so you need to do something different.
Oh, my Lord. All right. Well, gentlemen, we move over to the third question now for the evening, which is in the category of actors and actresses. This was drafted by Jacoby, so he will get to go first. The question is, who is the best actor or actress with 10 movies or less? So, Jacoby, you get to go first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Okay, Florence Pugh's range is absolutely incredible. Range is going to be very important for this question. She's the best actress with 10 movies or less because when she stars in movies, she's this magnetic powerhouse carrying the whole thing. When she's a supporting actress, she steals the whole movie. Her starring Lady Macbeth performance is this psychologically terrifying hurricane. Then she turns around and does Fighting with My Family, where her earnestness and drive to succeed makes it one of the best recent underdog sports movies. In Midsummer, she portrayed a young woman shattered by trauma and stuck in an abusive relationship so convincingly that you were thrilled at the end when she smiles after her boyfriend burns alive in a bear costume. She made the traditionally bratty and unlikable Amy March surprisingly sympathetic in Little Women and earned an Oscar nomination for it. And now she's proven she can be a big budget comedy action star by stealing the Black Widow movie away from ScarJo and putting a bright future in her as an action star. And she makes it look easy. Overall, for her scope, for her range, and for her less amount of movies, she's the best.
Time. All right. Kirk, you now have 1 minute when you start talking. Sorry, your face when you came on. Okay, go ahead.
I think the best actor for 10 movies or less is pretty cut and dry with John Cazale. Famously, he has one of the greatest runs in movie history. Godfather, Godfather 2, The Conversation, Dog Day Afternoon, and Deer Hunter, in which he creates 5 fully formed, fantastic characters. Cazale was the man that Pacino and De Niro both credit as teaching them more about acting than anyone else ever. Other contemporaries, Christopher Walken, Meryl Streep, Gene Hackman, name his inspiration, how he made their work better. Other, current actors, Philip Seymour Hoffman, not current, Sam Rockwell, Michael Fassbender, they all name his as a major influence. 50 years after his first performance, we're still talking about him. Books have been written, documentaries have been made. Tragically, we lost him at 42. We'll never see him make another movie, but will forever be batting 1,000 with these 5 great movies, 5 great performances that end making these movies great.
Time. All right. 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Did you say range? We could say a lot of nice things about Florence Pugh, but range isn't one of them. I mean, she is pretty one note. I mean, even in her best performances, she's pretty much here. But let's talk about just overall, because we've got to make this apples to apples. Florence Pugh is going to continue to work. John Cazale's gone. If we look at her 9 movies right now, where she's at, is she going to be considered one of the best actresses ever across the board? The answer is no, because she has Malevolent. She has The Outlaw King. She has Fight with My Family, which you mentioned, but movies where she's there and she's okay, but she doesn't elevate those movies the way John Cazale does.
Yes, Kirk, I did say range, and very good delivery on that very practiced line. The meme is that Florence Pugh frowns a lot. Yeah, but if you actually took the time to really watch those frowny performances, you'll see that they're all incredibly different and come with the sense of nuance to them. In Lady Macbeth, she was this trapped, bitter housewife with an ice-cold, manipulative drive to escape. In Little Women, she was a jealous and bratty younger girl who was forced to grow up fast. In Midsummer, she was a broken girlfriend desperately trying to find an anchor after a horrific loss. So yeah, she frowns a lot, but the depth she brings to each of this role is amazing. Compared to Cazale, who is a side character in all of his movies, Kirk. Everything he does, there's a reason why he was the only actor not nominated of the Corleone family of the Godfather trilogy. It's because he's there for other actors to bounce off of.
Exactly, because he was a selfless actor. He was there. Every one of those
everyone talked about their love so much.
You watch about those movies. You watch those movies. Those actors talk about how he made their performances better. There's a reason everyone around him was nominated, because his performance brought out the best in everybody. He made great movies, but he also made those movies great. He doesn't have. He was fantastic. He creates. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about who starred in the best movies. Who was the best actor? He was the best actor of the 70s, maybe.
What? No, you pick the actor with the best movies, hands down. But that's not the question. The question is best actor, and that is not Cazale. Cazale is the perfect side character that either in his career he either played the nervous, angry weasel like in The Godfather or The Deer Hunter, which was fine, or is a blank board for the better actors to bounce off of. You can't say the only reason Pacino and De Niro and everyone else was so good because Cazale wasn't giving them was helping them get better. No, they're good because they're great actors. Cazale is a great side character.
If you're trying to say that he played the same character in every one of these movies, you need to go back and rewatch these movies. You want to tell me Sicko and Dog Day Afternoon and Fredo Corleone are the same people? You're out of your mind. He was depth. He was known. He's famous for being a chameleon and fully forming these characters. Let's talk about Florence Pugh's performances. Midsummer, very one note. You feel bad for her because of what's going on around her. She doesn't do anything with that performance. Her most talked about performance in Little Women, she ridiculously plays a child for half the movie and does a horrible job of it.
Oh yeah, that's her fault. No, that's a directorial choice.
It is her fault. It is her fault. She read the
Hold on, Kirk. Hold on. You were just naming a bunch of things about that. No, you're taking away parts about it. The character of in Midsummer is supposed to be confined and sheltered until the final thing, and she does that great. The directorial choice, not her choice, to play a young girl in it should not be a knock against her in order to do that.
Let's talk about that. Talk about playing a young character. Sale and Dog Day Afternoon was written as a 18-year-old kid. John Cazale was cast in that part instead of saying, oh, well, it's on the page 18. I got to play a kid. He took that role and completely made it something his own because the director could trust him because he was a strong enough actor. He
Did you watch that movie recently?
Which is ridiculous.
Did you watch this movie recently? I watched Dog Day Afternoon. Al Pacino, Sonny is the wild. He's the out there one. Sal is nothing. He's supposed to be an expressionless, no character boy. That's supposed to be everything. Hold on, Kirk. Hold on.
Sensitive.
Kirk, hold on. He's supposed to be this blank, expressionless board for the other actors too. Yes, he might inspire great performances from other people by being a blank board for people to bounce on top of, but that does not make him the best actor, and that becomes
he's the best actor because of that. And also, if you're gonna, you want to talk about the best actor, he is this great supporting actor, but he also, you look at those roles he created. Watch him as Fredo Corleone. Watch the arc he takes as that character. Sal in Dog Day Afternoon, he has so much range. He's quiet. You're saying, oh, he's quiet, so he doesn't do anything. Florence Pugh is quiet, so she doesn't do anything. Sal is scary. He's sensitive. You relate to him. He has so much going on in that character. The same as one note because it's quiet.
It's the same character in each of his 5 performances. While Florence Pugh has actually shown different characters in every single one of the movies.
How can you say that?
Because it's obvious, Kirk.
Florence Pugh is one character in all her movies. She's very quiet.
It's the same type of
she was resigned and quiet.
The way that she does
she fully formed characters in every one of his movies. He is somebody different. He is a new and great character in every one of those.
Oh my god.
I might need to refill my water.
Okay.
How's your daughter's sleepover going, Kirk?
Is that what's happening right now?
Yes.
Oh my god. All right. Kirk, you get to close first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Is Florence Pugh an okay actress? Is she a good actress? Sure. I'm not here to convince you she's bad. Is she, based on these 9 movies she's made so far, one of the greatest actors of all time? Absolutely not. You look at her Malevolent, The Outlaw King. You have enough in her filmography to punch holes in. You can't punch holes in John Cazale's filmography. Jacoby is just, you want to talk about BS? Jacoby is just making stuff up. John Cazale creates a fully formed character with every movie he makes. He takes it and he makes it his own. He's quiet. He doesn't get a ton of screen time, but he sucks the marrow out of the screen time he has. And yes, he is a foil for a lot of other characters, but that's what makes those characters great. That's what makes their scenes great. That's what in their movies great. He's been in 5 Academy Award winning movies. It's not just about the great movies. It's about his fantastic performances. Florence Pugh is incredibly one note in everything she does. She has the potential to be great someday, maybe 50 years from now. We'll be talking about her as great. Not right now.
Time. All right. Jacoby, you now have 1 minute to close when you start talking.
Kirk's argument is saying that it's not about the movies, but he seems to be making it about the movies. Nobody walked out of the Godfather movies and thought that John Cazale stole the movie. Anyone, when they talk about the Deer Hunter, is people that talk about as De Niro, Streep, and Walken, who were all nominated, and no one remembered the one friend that they left at home. Dog Day Afternoon solidified Al Pacino as a powerhouse performer, and Cazale was also there. That's the important difference between Pugh and Cazale. I'm not calling Cazale a bad actor. It's just that when Cazale's in a movie, he's a nice side character, but doesn't bring a whole lot to the table, while Pugh always delivers a standout performance that people can't stop talking about, no matter if it's a lead actress or supporting. And she's portrayed all these different types of characters. Kirk saying it's one note is preposterous. She's played a traumatized girlfriend to an uptight, lovesick sister, to the hilarious action star super spy, to a wannabe underdog wrestler, and rocked every single one of them. She's proven that she can handle just about any role, and she's definitely one of the brightest young actresses today. We're not talking about how we're going to talk about later on. We're talking about the best in the actors with 10 movies right now, and that's Pugh.
Time. Oh my lord. That might have been one of my favorite fights I've ever watched.
And Kirk's not done.
Yeah,
like right
great.
now, Kirk's not done. Like at all. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Hold on.
All right.
Sucks.
I thought Kirk was gonna break his fucking computer.
I think both people wanted to come in after their time and be like, listen here, fucker, you're wrong.
All right, Cody, you get to go first.
Okay, so the other two were close. I don't hate you at all tonight, Kirk. I'm not saying you're doing bad. I did go Jacoby on this one. And the fact of the thing that I went with, and there was stuff I disagreed with on both sides, but I think Jacoby really pissed you off into a direction that made you lose your ground in this fight a little bit, and I think that's what swayed it. The other was 51-49. I think this was a little bit closer on the side because I think just you said stuff and he had counterpoints, so I had to go with Jacoby on this question. I'm sorry, Kirk. Don't hate me later.
Boatman, you get to go next.
All right, Jacoby's getting the point. I think
I'm not crazy.
I think that ultimately, I agree with Cody. I think Jacoby kind of pissed Kirk off a little bit, and I think it got him kind of arguing more about the movies than actually about the performances. And I think Jacoby was kind of able to take advantage of that and knock it home in the closing.
So my Jacoby gets the point. My vote doesn't count. I also went Jacoby, pretty much for the same reasons you guys said, except I do think that Kirk did talk about the performances, but I thought that at the end of the day, Jacoby, his closing was super strong.
I don't care about losing the point. The fact that we're even comparing John Cazale to Florence Pugh is an insult. That's comparing a sunset to a dog turd. And the fact that you all went with that is, again, you guys, I'm on the right side of history here, guys. And let me give you something. I'm a great actor. There.
I know it was you, Fredo.
You want to put that in your actual argument? You may have won.
All right, guys. All right, so it is now 2-1 in favor of Kirk as we move on to the fourth question, which is, I think, my personal favorite of the prep questions we have tonight, which is in the category of Star Trek. And the question is, which Star Trek crew member would you want to go camping with? So Kirk drafted this, so he gets to go first. Kirk, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
When you watch Star Trek, whether the original cast movies or the series, look around the bridge. Who's the least comfortable? Who wants to be there the least? Who's the most nervous? Who starts bitching moaning the most when things get out of hand? It's Leonard McCoy. And that is because he is an anachronism on the bridge of the Enterprise, and he is much more natural fit with his feet on solid ground. That's why he's one of the reasons why he's my pick to go camping with. He is the least dependent on technology. He is a man of the earth. He is a man who he is a throwback to an older time. He is a man who knows how to survive in any situation, but especially in a camping situation. He knows how to relax. He knows he wants to relax. He wants to enjoy himself. His position on board the Enterprise is his job. It is not his life. And he is the guy I would want to go on a trip with. I think we would have a great time. We would relax. We'd do a lot of cool stuff. And it would be a fantastic camping excursion.
Strike excursion from the
Excur. I got excursion.
That's fair. Jacoby, you now have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
So why do people go camping? It's to have an adventure in the great outdoors. When you're in that situation, you want someone with you that you know can appreciate the beauty of nature, to lead you on amazing hikes, to be able to handle a lot of the heavy labor like chopping wood, and frankly, you want someone you won't mind spending a few days in close proximity with. You want someone jovial and funny and who's able to have these deep late-night fireside chats that happen around campfires. There's only one person in the OG crew who can do that, and that's Kirk. Captain Kirk is a dream come true for all camping enthusiasts out there. But on top of that, if you're like me, who thinks camping is just the worst thing ever, Kirk would be the one to help you appreciate how special it is and show you a good time. No other crew member can do that. So the answer to this is Kirk. He's the only one where you'll have an enjoyable time with, whether you like camping or you don't like camping. And you should want that for a camping trip, for just such a fun, energetic leader personality. And that's why I think, I can go camping with Kirk. Not this Kirk, the other Kirk.
All right. 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
So, Bones, I think, is just an awful choice to go camping with overall. I mean, just because Bones is going to complain about literally everything. Can you imagine sleeping in your sleeping bag, and then all of a sudden you hear things like, damn it, this ground is too hard, or it's too damn cold out here, or I don't want to go anywhere, because that's what you're going to get with Bones. He's either going to complain the entire time and ruin camping, or he's going to drink excessively, like he did in the Final Frontier scene when he's camping, and then you'll have a drunk complainer the whole time. Bones is a horrible choice to enjoy camping with.
No, because here's the thing. Bones complains on the Enterprise because he's not in his element. He's not where he's naturally meant to be. That's where he complains. He wants to be on the ground. He wants to be camping. He's going to be so happy to get a break from the stress of the Enterprise. Yeah, we may imbibe a little alcohol, sit around the fire. That's just going to make it more enjoyable. You know who's not going to have fun? Is James Kirk, because Kirk is the dad who takes his laptop to the beach. He's so focused on his career. That seat in the Enterprise is his entire life. His world revolves around that. He wants to. All he wants to do is be on the Enterprise. He can't relax. And here's the thing about Jim Kirk: he goes camp with you. He sees nature as something to be conquered. He doesn't see something to enjoy or appreciate or to commune with. He's going to take you on adventures. He's likely going to get you killed because the guy can't. You're either going to be on adrenaline-filled, death-defying things where you may die, or he's just going to be thinking about what's going on in the Enterprise.
No, he's not going to look at nature as something to be conquered, something to be explored. And that's why you're out there in nature, to appreciate the beauty all around that. He has this natural leadership ability and sense of wonder that's going to help you have the best camping trip ever. You'll go fishing, you'll go hiking, you'll roast marshmallows, you'll sing around the campfire, you'll bond. Bones, you'll hate him on the morning of day 2 because Bones is the type of guy to be like, yeah, I packed food and we'll cook for everyone. And you're like, what's for dinner, Bones? And it's like, oh, it's whiskey-soaked beans. And then that's all you're going to have to eat. And then
which you're going to have that you have appreciated and is happy with.
But he says you have to like and enjoy, or you'll insult my family's honor. That's the worst type of person to spend a time camping with. You want someone fun and jovial. Kirk is going to have a good time, and you're going to have a good time with him.
Kirk is going to be so bored fishing. He's going to be so bored hiking. He doesn't want to do that. Bones is going to be so happy just out there relaxing, having a good time. He wants to be there. Kirk does not. And you're talking about who you want to sit around the fireside with. You want to listen to Kirk brag about how awesome he is and all the alien women he's been with. The time he got space herpes from the green chick on Regula 7. His stories. Bone, if you want to talk about, you're going to have the same conversation. Bones has the same stories Kirk does, but he's going to come out with humor, with self-deprecation, from the point of view of somebody who sees his adventure. Just, hey, look what a badass I am. You're going to get so sick of listening.
No,
to Kirk
Bones is going to complain about. Bones is going to complain about his ex-wife the whole time, but with Kirk, he's not going to be worried about and beguile you with just his stories of his exploration. He's going to talk about your place in the universe and among the stars, about what life truly means. And really, at the end of the day, that's what camping is, just to be there, bonding and telling stories. Bones' story is going to be self-deprecating. Your argument about how Bones is uncomfortable because he's a man of the ground. We don't see him in a camping element. We don't see him there huffing it and chopping wood and doing everything that should be there and doing everything
Season 2,
done in order to camping. 10? You want someone who's going to be able to do that for you if you don't want to do it yourself. And that's Kirk. Kirk's going to take charge. Kirk's going to handle all the hard stuff about camping, and you're going to have fun doing it.
But you're going to get Captain James Tiberius Kirk, who has spent his career being in charge of everything, to do your dirty work for you. Good luck with that.
He loves it. He loves chopping wood. He loves taking charge. He loves being a leader. So yeah,
he loves being in charge. He loves delegating. He loves telling other people what to do. I'm sorry, but you're going to be chopping wood. You're going to be getting firewood. You're going to be setting up the tent, because James is the boss. He is the alpha male. And you are not going to have a good time camping.
You act like it's a dictatorship under Kirk and not someone who inspires you to want to do fun things. And that's what made Kirk a good captain and is going to make him a good camping buddy, because you are going to want to do the things that camping investigates. If Kirk's chopping wood and you want to chop wood with him, you want to be like Kirk, you'll chop wood. You want to do some hard stuff? Sure, you'll do those too. Kirk is going to just inspire a sense of wonder in you, while Bones is just going to be pouty. He's going to be uncomfortable. He's going to complain. He'll probably complain about Spock, even though Spock's not even there. And it's just going to be a bad time. You don't go to camping to complain about your misery.
You get Bones off the Enterprise. He's charming. He's fun. He's fun to be around. You're talking about Bones,
and you want to take care of a really big drunk person.
You're talking. Yeah. Let's sit around. I'll sit around and get drunk with Bones. That'll be awesome. That'll be so much fun. But he's a great to be around when you take him out. He out of that element. He is the most charming character on that series.
You're painting Kirk as like a dictator who you hate to be around at his worst. No,
he's your boss. You don't go camping with your boss.
He goes and does fun things around that. He's someone who inspires you to want to do good and see the sense of wonder.
He inspires you when you're at work. You don't want him inspiring you when you're camping. I'm on vacation.
All right, Jacoby. Yeah, this was Kirk's. Okay, so Jacoby, you get to close first. 1 minute when you start talking.
Okay, the question is who you want to go camping with, and I think Kirk is the answer for every type of camper. I mean, like, if you love camping and the great outdoors, your trip will only get better thanks to someone who is as fun and as adventurous and out there and willing to explore as Kirk. Kirk is painting him as like this dictator, horrible person who's going to crack an iron whip and say, do this job. No, he's going to enliven the situation, make it fun, make it enjoyable. And if you absolutely hate camping and want someone that will handle, a lot of the manual labor and lead you around so you don't have to make any major camping decisions, who will take charge in the fishing, the hiking, the exploring, everything like that, and while showing you how fun it is, that's Kirk. If Bones is in that situation and you both don't want to do something, you'll both just be like, yeah, this kind of sucks. What's bad about your life? Well, this is what's bad about my life. That's not what camping should be. You would only bring Bones if you're the type of camper who enjoys like complaining every second of the day. Bones is the worst person to be around overall because he's just not going to bring a whole lot to the table and enhance the camping experience, while that's something that Kirk will do in spades overall no matter what.
All right. Kirk, you now have 1 minute when you start talking.
Kirk isn't going to fish. He's not going to hike. He's in that boat fishing with you 5 seconds. You're like, hey, let's go climb that hill and maybe die. He's going to take you in situations where you are not safe. Bones will be completely happy doing all the normal fishing, camping stuff, fishing, hiking, whatever. Jacoby's painting him as the character on the Enterprise. Whenever you see him on the ground off the Enterprise, he's a completely different person. Very happy, very charming. Jacoby, I'm not painting him as a dictator, but he's the boss. He's in charge, and he's not going to get out of that mode. You don't want to go camping with your boss. Jacoby thinks he's going to tell Captain Kirk, hey, go chop that wood. I don't feel like doing it. Good luck. That is not who James Kirk. James Kirk does not get out of Captain mode. Bones gets out of Dr. McCoy mode really easy. He relaxes very easy. Kirk cannot do that. McCoy is going to be fun. He's going to be a fun camping companion. He's capable of doing all the work and all the legwork you need to do camping, but he's going to make it so much more enjoyable, so much more fun. Not going to be busted around. You're going to be equals. You'll be partners. Sit around the fire, have fun, laugh, tell jokes, and relax. That's what camping's about. You're not going to relax, Kirk.
All righty. This was a nice one after
this is relatively calm
after last time.
Kirk just wants to be on vacation.
All right. Sorry, someone from work just texted me. I believe I do, because my vote didn't count last time. I'm going with Kirk. I thought that Kirk actually convinced me of the fact that, yeah, Bones out of his element in relaxation mode would be wonderful. And that was kind of Jacoby's only slight against Bones, was that he would be cranky. And Kirk very well explained to me why he wouldn't be. So although I don't think his Kirk is gonna force you to do everything on the trip thing really worked for me, there wasn't really anything against Bones that I could really run with. So I went with Kirk. Cody, you're next.
I only wrote 4 letters this time, so Kirk. I think the part that really sold me was basically you're gonna be chopping wood. You're gonna be setting up your own tent. You're gonna be doing everything, because that man does the laptop to the beach really work too. He's always constantly doing stuff, and then he's always on the slide of adventure. So he wants to, you're gonna see that mountain. Let's go climb it. No, and I hate camping, so McCoy getting hammered, fine, works for me. So, yeah, Kirk won it for me.
I also would have said Kirk. For me, the illustration that won it for him, for me, was both of them telling stories. How Kirk would be more bragging, and how Bones would actually be more humble with it.
All right, so Kirk wins the point. He goes up 3-1 So here is the situation. If Kirk wins this next point, he will win the match. Jacoby needs to hit this in order to keep it going into the speed round. So the final question is in the category of DreamWorks animation, chosen by Jacoby. The question is, who is the worst character in a DreamWorks animated movie? So, Jacoby, you get to go first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Okay, Artie from Shrek the Third is the worst character for 2 reasons. One, he's just flat out awful. He's nothing but a ball of the worst traits you can imagine for a person, like whiny, cowardly, and totally the type to be like, why don't women like me? I'm a nice guy. He's also racist against ogres and solves his problems by either pretending to be a big crybaby or by acting like an overly flamboyant diva. And this is the guy who's supposed to be king of Far, Far Away. That alone makes him the worst. But on top of all of that, he is the worst character because he totally sucks up all the energy in a stupid plot line that doesn't connect the thematic dots that it's supposed to, while also taking away from an actually interesting plot that could have made the third Shrek movie maybe kind of passable. So character-wise, Artie is absolutely unbearable. He's just the ball of worseness who you hate every second when he's all screen, voiced by a very cringeworthy actor. But he also doesn't fit overall into the narrative, and it makes the whole story of the movie 10 times worse than it should be. So on both of those fronts, Artie is the worst.
Time. All right. We move over to Kirk. Kirk, you now have 1 minute when you start talking.
Worst character questions are tough because do you argue the worst character within the world of the movie, or do you argue who's the worst written character, the worst acted character? A lot of ways you can go with this. Fortunately, I think there's a DreamWorks character who encapsulates all those things, and it's Oscar from Shark Tale. Oscar is completely irredeemable. He has every bad trait. He's selfish. He's self-centered. He's stupid. He's irresponsible. He doesn't really do anything in this movie to make you care about him or to want to see him succeed. He's also, the voice work is really bad. It's just basically Will Smith maybe literally phoning it in, just giving every Will Smith soundbite that you can think of. A very generic performance by Will Smith. The character is poorly written. Like I said, he's not likable, but his story is not very good also. So from every aspect, this is definitely one of the worst DreamWorks character. I can see it in my time.
All right. 5 minute freeform when one of you starts.
Everything you said about Artie applies to Oscar. He's cowardly, he's whiny, he's unlikable. The flip side, though, Artie at least has some good qualities to him. Where Oscar is selfish and wants everything for himself, when Artie's offered power, he's offered control, he's offered that wealth, he rejects. He says, "No, I'm not capable of that. I don't want that." And he actually has an arc where he learns to be a leader. And he has moments, he has beats within that story where he's learning to be a leader, where you just hate Oscar through the entire movie because he's not learning anything. He's just a very selfish, stingy person.
That's so hilarious to me that how you're framing Artie's acceptance and saying like, no, I don't want power. When Artie first learns that he's going to be king, the first thing he says like, princesses, parties, and princesses. Oh yeah. And then he learns how hard it actually is. And that's what makes him turn away out of fear, not out of some duty. So don't paint Artie as a sort of noble who grows through this any arc, because he does not. Oscar, on the other hand, yes, he's a lot to take in, but I think there's two things about the character that kind of saves it. Yeah, you comment Will Smith a lot, but I think Will Smith does the best and is at least charismatic and fun enough because he's Will Smith. He always has that baseline. The second is that the character of Oscar himself has a pure heart and understandable motivations. Sure, he's cocky and arrogant, but we see him being nice to children, nice to homeless hermit crabs, nice to Angie, even though he just sees her as a friend, and is willing to do things like risk his life to save a coworker when a whale freaks out. And then everything, his bad characteristics are rooted in something real. Is the fact that his father grew up working at a whale wash and everyone hated and laughed at him for it. So of course he wants to do better. It's a standard natural character.
His characteristics are rooted in something very real: greed and selfishness. That's what he's rooted in. You talk about Will Smith's charismatic performance. He's not charismatic. He's just doing the Will Smith. Every Will Smith meme you can think of is just collected in this movie. Justin Timberlake is giving a real voice performance. He's actually acting in this movie, where he's actually performing in this movie. It's not it's genuine. It's a genuine performance where Will Smith definitely is not. They're just like, go do Will Smith.
Will Smith doesn't give a genuine. Yes, he does. He goes.
Yes,
It's like he's rooted in greed and selfishness, and that's not true if you actually watch the movie. The fact that he's rooted in the fact that he wants to be above his lot. He's tired of being a lowly whale wash person, and he has to learn. He actually goes from start to finish learning how to be a good person and see what's in front of him and value everything in it. That's a full complete arc. Artie, on the other hand, does not have a complete arc in this movie. He's the worst. Shrek has to save him from Prince Charming at the end, and then that's Artie's last scene. He's not in the movie anymore. It goes straight to Shrek.
Artie's last
everything
scene
about that. There's no arc there.
Artie's last scene is turning the villains to good.
That's not his last scene, Kirk.
Well, that is the completion of his arc. He's not.
Yeah,
he's the person that was some great action hero. He's not the main. He's not the main character. Shrek is the hero, but he has a complete arc where he becomes worthy of being the king. Shrek even gives him the crown. He's worthy of being the king after that movie's over. You're just saying that. Oh, Artie wants to be above the station. Artie wants to be above the people who care about him.
You mean
Oscar? Oscar is Angie. His friend Angie is not good enough for him. She loves him. She cares about him, and he just wants to be better than her. His life there with her is not good enough.
He doesn't want to be better than her. Watch how he treats her at the
does.
beginning. He brings her lunch. He brings her things. He knows that he values the friendship so much and is genuinely excited when she gives him a lava lamp. He gets caught up in the flash and the glory because that's something he wanted his whole life. And then when he learns in order to that's not the way to go, he becomes a better person for it. As opposed to Artie, who is painted and he's supposed to be, because his plot line is Shrek tries to become a father by watching over the world's worst teenager. And guess what? He is the world's worst teenager. Shrek gets the complete character arc for that, while Artie stays whiny, cowardly, and just bad throughout the whole thing with no resolution, without anything. He's the character that sucks the air out of every scene.
He does not say cowardly. He stands up to the villains at the end. Maybe he's saved from Prince Charming, but he stands up to the villain. He solves the problem of the villains at the end of the movie. He completes the story and he completes his arc. Artie takes a precious gemstone, a family heirloom of Angie's, and takes it to pay Oscar. He takes her. Thank you. He takes her heirloom, sells it, and instead of paying off his debts, because he's so responsible and selfish, he bets it on a horse. He makes dumb decisions throughout the movie. Well, I want to talk about one more thing. Let's talk about it's animated movies. Go talk about character design. One of the ugliest characters ever. They couldn't decide if they wanted to go anthropomorphic or photorealistic. They made these abominations against God. Oscar is one of the ugliest DreamWorks characters ever created, and that counts.
Shouldn't even be a factor. The character, the actual character that it is.
It's an animated character. God, talk about how he's animated.
CGI Shrek the Third for Artie, who is not special, not anything. If this guy is supposed to be a kingly character, then he should look a little kingly and not just some bland background character that is in every Shrek movie that he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be
like that.
Artie is supposed to be unassuming. Oscar is an abomination to God.
That doesn't matter for when Oscar doesn't even.
I'm sorry. Okay, Kirk, you get to close first. 1 minute when you start talking.
Jacoby's painting Artie as being bad throughout, and he does have annoying characteristics throughout. That's his character arc, but he does have tender moments. His moment where he talks about his dad with Shrek. He has the moment at the end where he turns the villains. He has the moment where he saves Shrek by or he gets them to go to far away by deceiving Merlin, because he's creative and he's resourceful. He acts cowardly and he acts afraid because he knows that's the way to achieve his goals, and he does what it takes. He becomes a worthy king at the end. Oscar is just a bad person from the beginning of the movie until the third act comes, and it's, oh wait, we have to do something to make him good. But he never really pays for all the selfishness, for all the people he hurt, for using his friends, for using his boss, for using these people. He's just a bad guy. Artie's intentions are rooted in something more pure, more real. Oscar is just selfish. He's greedy. He's inconsiderate of his friends, and he just wants to better himself. Doesn't care about anybody else.
Time. All right, Jacoby. 1 minute when you start talking.
So Kirk's just throwing out buzzwords at this point, but like all the moments that Kirk mentioned about Artie is like the moment where he talks about his dad is undercut by the fact that Artie is complaining about, yeah, I have problems. Like, what's it to you the whole time? The one he convinces the villains and changes the mind. His whole speech boils down to basically, hey, what if you weren't bad? And then that suddenly makes him like a king and everything. And then he convinces Merlin in order to transform them by literally crawling on the ground like a baby and crying the whole time. And this guy is supposed to be king of Far, Far Away. Everything about Artie and all of his good moments that Kirk's mentioned are wrong. Oscar, yes, he did a bad thing, but you know what he does? He learns from that. Yes, he's cocky and arrogant, but it's rooted in his backstory with his father of wanting to rise above his lot, and then he learns from that. He's actually a factor, very importantly, at the end of the day, and grows and learns to be a better person, and learns to value everyone around him, and learns to be happy in his life. And it's just kind of fun to be around overall. Artie just sucks the air every time that he's on screen because he's supposed to be a bad character, and then the movie forgets to give him a satisfying arc. Oscar's supposed to go from bad to good, and he does.
Time. All right. Bring in the people. Sorry, 1 second. Okay.
This debate just has quotable lines said throughout everything.
What did you say? Oscar is what against God?
An abomination against God.
Abomination against good. That's great. Okay.
You know, Jacoby's one of the most level-headed guys you could talk to in this community, but when the debate floor, just like it just right out the window.
You get that sneer. I don't see that sneer too often.
I think we're starting with Boatman on this one, right? Your vote didn't count last time. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. I'm going with Kirk. I think this was, for me, the closest of all of them, of all the debates so far. But this was narrow, but for me, Kirk brought it a little bit over the edge. I think that ultimately they both made good points to why they were both horrible people. I just think Kirk was able to defend Arthur a little bit better, so I think that Kirk gets a point for me.
All right. I'll go next. To throw off the letter game, I said Jacko instead of Jacoby.
There's no Jacko here. It doesn't count.
So this is my official vote for Jacoby. I went with Jacoby. I agree. I think this was really, really close. Like Boatman said, I thought that Jacoby's closing statement, literally like one of the last things he said of like, the character did exactly what it's supposed to do. He went from a bad person to a good person, and there were things that he said earlier about like, no, he actually does care about Angie and does things to prove that. I went with Jacoby on that point. So, Cody, this one goes up to you. Where are we going and why?
Enjoy the speed round, boys. I went Jacoby. Basically, my whole take was the Artie. Bowman's full of shit because he argued for Shark Tale against Shark Tale one time and he's still blinded because overall Jacoby was able to paint why this person is never redeemed throughout anything, and like he stays a bad person, and every time Kirk would like bring something, Jacoby would bring a fact from the movie and say, nope, that's actually not the case, this is this, and I just thought that was really strong. Again, they're both terrible characters, even though an abomination before God was real close to swinging me the other way. So.
I thought that lost it for me right there.
All right, guys. So we do move on to the speed round. Here's how this is going to work. We are going to say the question. Once we have, I will say the question, and then I will say the question again. Once I have said it the second time, you can say your answer. Whoever says the answer first will be going first. If you have an answer, just say it. Don't make us sit here and wait for the other person to go, aka what I'm now calling the Caleb Coho strategy. You will have 45 seconds to open and 30 seconds to rebut. You can do whatever you want with your time. Any questions about the way that the speed round is going to work?
What's the time again? It's 45-30.
45-30. So we will have two speed round questions. If Kirk wins the first one, he will win. Otherwise, if Jacoby wins, we will go to a second speed round question. So, any other questions? Okay. Cody, do you want to do the Warzone one or the Fandom one first?
Flip a coin.
Okay.
Yeah, flip a coin because I don't know.
I don't
If
have.
that could-
Fandom will be heads, let's say. Siri, flip a coin. So again, and I will stay on screen for the whole time for this to give you guys the countdowns and everything.
Where does your countdown? Do you give us 10?
10, yep.
I think I made that mistake last time where I thought that was it. Okay.
All right, guys. So your fandom speed round question.
Oh, God.
What fandom character would you most want to be your business partner? Again, what fandom character would you most want to be your business partner?
I'll go with the boss baby.
I'm gonna go Bruce Wayne.
Okay. Okay, I just like the reaction backstage. All right, so Jacoby, you started. You have 45 seconds when you start talking.
So for someone who you want to be your business partner, you're going to want someone who has a business mind, who knows everything about business, who knows the ins and out of every sort of corporate law document or sort of oversight, sort of anything like that that's going to get you money by the end. It doesn't matter if you don't really necessarily like or interact with the person well, because that's not the point when you need a business partner. Your point is to make money. And so you want to be with someone who's going to make you the most amount of money possible. And that's going to be the boss baby. He is ruthless. He's efficient. Yes, he's a baby and comes with a lot of baby tendencies overall, but that doesn't mean his mind for business is not there and about how great he is at business and doing the things that he sets out to do. He has a whole network involved with him in order to do great things. And at the end of the day, as a business partner, you are going to earn stacks and stacks of more money than you could possibly imagine because of his savvy business sense and overall everything great about him.
Time. Kirk, 45 seconds when you start talking.
Bruce Wayne would be the greatest business partner because no matter what, he always makes money. Due to spending literally billions of dollars fighting crime, he's buying airplanes, he's buying boats, he's redecorating the cave. He has all this stuff, and somehow he still has money left. Like he's not a bad businessman. Bruce Wayne would be bankrupt within a year. The guy maintains his wealth. He has all of Wayne Industries. You get access to Lucius Fox, a bunch of brilliant minds. Also, the guy can keep a secret. He knows how to move money around. He knows how he can cook the books. He's literally the only person in Gotham who could be Batman, and people don't know he's Batman. That's how good he is at moving money around, making the most of his money, making the best business decision. The guy's brilliant. He's worldwide. He's the best business partner.
Time. Jacoby, 30 seconds.
So everything you just said about Bruce Wayne is absolutely wrong. He does not always make money, as seen when it's actually shown in a real life situation where he lost all of his money and did not care. That's going to be your huge problem in Dark Knight Rises, where he lost his whole business and couldn't give a shit about everything about that. He's the worst business partner. And because he's kind of preoccupied, he does not care. He has no mind for business in order to actually succeed in to make money. He doesn't care about that at all. He only wants to fight crime at night dressed in a leotard. You said that he can cook the books because he knows all the shady things. You try getting Bruce Wayne to commit a crime in order to do stuff good. No, and overall, it's the boss baby is ruthless. And he'll do whatever it takes to win.
Kirk, 30 seconds.
He may not be committing crimes, but he's doing something to move that money around and keep secret and keep that money flowing in. He may be off fighting crime, but if you have him as a partner, you're connected to Wayne Industries, the biggest conglomerate on the planet. They're in space, they're in the military, they're making money everywhere. Like I said, you have Lucius Fox. Once you're in with Bruce Wayne, you don't need Bruce Wayne to be making you money. The boss baby is baby. There's a lot of limitations there. Also, corporate espionage, anything bad happens, you get kidnapped, your family gets kidnapped, guess who's there to save you? Batman. Batman has protected you. He's protected your fortune, your family.
Corporate espionage. Oh, man. That was funny. I hate this. Okay.
Oh. Yeah. Whatever.
Who went first last time?
I think I did.
I think Bowman did.
Both did.
So Cody goes first this time.
Not a fucking shocker. I want Jacoby. I'm sorry, Kirk. I don't hate you, I promise. But like, holy shit! I think the hardest takedown ever was when he responded like he doesn't care about business. He used the exact movie reference. I can't believe Jacoby did this again. I'm picking the boss baby as a business partner, which would be insane. I just think he layered it out perfectly. He has baby tendencies, which I don't think he really tackled that much. But like, he was just able to drive up the point. I had to go Jacoby.
Bowman.
Jacoby. I basically for the same reasons Cody said. I think that like Jacoby just kind of smacked him around in his counter, and it didn't really come back from there.
I also had Jacoby, except I only put Jacob this time.
Again, no Jacob here. Tied.
Doesn't count.
Last 2 fights are tied.
All right.
In Warzone.
So
Multiplex.
So here's the rub. We are tied 3-3. We're going to the final speed round question in the category of Warzone. Whoever wins this point will be the champion. Your question in Warzone. What is the most disappointing non-fandom movie sequel?
I'm going to go The Predator. The Shane Black one.
Okay.
I'm going to go The Matrix Reloaded.
Okay. All right. So, what is it? Okay. Something happened in the chat. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to cut back in on that. All right. So, Jacoby spoke first with The Predator. So, Jacoby, you will have 45 seconds to open when you start talking.
Shane Black gave us one of the best 2010s movies with The Nice Guys, so obviously his next project was going to be something big, and to hear the news that he was making a sequel to Predator, one of the best action movies of all time, was going to be perfect, because he was even part of the original Predator. For him to continue the legacy with the movie overall in order to make it was going to be something good, but it turns out that movie sucks. It was bad. It was every worst aspect of every Shane Black movie, and it could not deliver on the premise of it, and everything about it, the characters, the dialogue, the totally wonky reshot third act ending that completely ruined it, and then it had the audacity to tease a sequel for it that was just by the end of it, you just hate every second of it, because it had so much potential for everything that it was supposed to be, given the cast involved, the crew involved, and everything about that, along with all the bad things that happened to it. This is what makes it the worst sequel.
Okay. Kirk, 45 seconds when you start talking.
The Matrix changed the way we watch movies. It changed pop culture. It permeated our lives. It was a new era in movies. We were obsessed with these characters, with this world. And when we found out after that ending, that just kind of like leading ending at the end of the Matrix, we're going to get sequels. We're going to find out more about what happens in Neo. We're going to find about the rest of this world. We're going to find out about Zion. And we get a disgusting mess. We get a rave orgy. We get the Architect, which is one of the most disappointing letdowns of explanation of what this world was. It's everything we didn't want. It was just a complete letdown from beginning to end. Nobody even thought about the Predator. That was not something people were looking for. They didn't want. No one was hyped up for it.
Time. Jacoby, 30 seconds.
The Matrix Reloaded was in an impossible position because it couldn't just do what the Matrix did right before it. It had to expand the world. So for what it had to do in order to not just copy everything that came before, it did it in an okay way, in the only way that it could. The Predator, everyone was excited for Predator. The Predator is one of the most iconic action movies of all time. For it to be rebooted by someone with such talent, who's coming off such a hot streak as Shane Black, anticipation was huge for that movie. So everything about that did not work. It's just such a disappointment for that. The Matrix Reloaded is bloated and it's out there, but it introduces some cool concepts that there's
Time.
not very well.
Kirk, 30 seconds.
You're coming at the term or at the Predator from the aspect of a cinephile who cares about Shane Black. Average movie viewer doesn't care. Disappointing Predator sequels, Predator 2, Predators, the AVP. We were already disappointed in the Predator. The Matrix, we were dying for more. We couldn't wait. If it's impossible to do, don't do it. But they did, and they let us all down. If they were left well enough alone, we would have been happy just imagining what could have been, but they gave us something awful, completely down. Like I said, Predator was on its way down. Matrix was top of the world. We needed more Matrix.
Time.
We got was awful.
All right. Gentlemen, you guys are done for the evening. Congrats. You guys, no matter what happens,
Great match, Jacoby.
don't have to
great match,
don't have to yell at each other anymore.
We'll still yell at each other, just not in the match.
All right. So Cody, you went first last time.
Hold on.
Oh, you're not done. Vote.
Correct. So I don't know how to do shit. I was muted.
So I'm going first this time.
Sure.
This is question 7, right? Yeah, so it would go back to me.
You're egotistical. I've already said this before. Oh, sorry.
That's true. You were very surprised when I let someone else go first.
I know. Oof.
All right, we're all good?
Yep.
I'm going with Kirk. I think Kirk was able to the question of disappointing and saying like, look, we were already disappointed by the Predator to begin with. The Matrix, we wanted so much more, and if you couldn't do it justice, then don't do it. And they did it anyway, and we were disappointed by it. I thought his teardown of the Predator and his buildup of Matrix was great. So I went with Kirk. Cody, you get to go next.
I wrote this a lot on my board tonight, so too bad it had to change. I went with Kirk. I think Jacoby set up Kirk for his closing perfectly to just let him knock him down. If it was up to me, Jacoby would have won this a long time ago. It wasn't up to me on certain ones, so but Kirk was able to squeak it out at the end. This is just a fantastic fight. But yeah, I had to go with Kirk. I just think Kirk, the one of the best closings to describe it. If it was too much, they just shouldn't have done it, and he just hit it out of the head for me. So that's why I had to go with Kirk.
All right, Kirk gets the point, but Boatman, you would have gone Jacoby. Why?
I would have gone Jacoby. I think that this one was close for me, as you can kind of see. It took a little bit of time because I was going back and forth, but I think Jacoby hit on I think why it was disappointing overall, not just for the mainstream audiences, and I think when you set up that with that Shane Black, but I think it was close. I understand why Kirk won in the eyes of the other two judges, because I think it was great closing to a great match.
Yeah. All right. So that means your winner and new Fanzone debate champion is Kirk Kowalkowski. We are going to start by talking to the second place finisher, Jacoby. Really close match. It was looking a little scary there in the beginning. You missed the first 2 questions, but you were able to come back and get the points you needed in the main round, and you came back and got the first of the speeds to pull it to the last question. So really, really great match overall. How are you feeling about the match?
Oh, tired, but it was a great match, and of course I knew that I wasn't going to beat Kirk because I can't beat Kirk at freaking anything. But it was a great fight. So glad it came down to the wire. So glad I was able to kind of come back after stumbling a little bit at the beginning there, and for it to come down to the wire when Kirk has been so dominant this season, where he easily could have knocked me out like a lot because he's done that with so many people. So, but it was a lot of fun overall. It's always fun to debate Kirk because it's just so animated, so out there. But no, he deserved that. He made some great points on just about everything, and he did great. So I'm very happy that. Well, I guess I'm not super happy that he's the champion, but I guess I'm okay with the fact that he's the champion. So.
That's fair. Jacoby, obviously, this means that yes, you are no longer the champion, but you have a fantastic record in the league. If you would like to come back, who is someone that you would want to debate next season?
Next season, I just two people who seem to have called me out before, who I know really wants me. Rue really wants to debate me, and I would love to see that happen. And then Tuhig, I think, would be a lot of fun. So Rue or Tuhig would just be a blast from start to finish, and maybe I'd be less angry debating them than I am when I argue and listen to anything Kirk has to say. And I think it'd just be a very, very fun time. So either of them, it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I can say that you and Tuhig's records definitely match up a little bit. So maybe we could see that happen. Maybe that's like a season opener or something next year. So Jacoby, great job. Really great match. Definitely deserved of having the belt. So great job. Let's move over to Kirk. Kirk, congratulations. You got the belt. Fantastic performance all the way around. How are you feeling about the match?
I'd like to use my time to talk about the acting genius of John Cazale. We're going to start with his first performance in The Godfather as Fredo Corleone. On that first scene at the wedding, he expresses his vulnerability. It was a great match. Jacoby, fantastic, proved why he was the champion, was a worthy champion. And he just hard. He wouldn't die. He was like a Terminator. I just kept coming at him. I thought I had him. Fun fact, I wasn't sure how the roles worked. I thought it was first to 3-1. So I was very confident in my first 4 arguments. I thought, I could kind of skimp on studying for that DreamWorks question. Bit me in the butt in the end. Fortunately, I won't do that again my next championship match. But no, again, I mean, even coming down last one, like I had Matrix loaded. I was like, that's a really good pick. But the thing about Jacoby is you don't know where he's going to take it. And you don't know which way he's going to go. And so you're always nervous no matter what. So I'm glad to be champion. I'm proud to be the champion, to have that title. Like I said, I've been watching movie fights for years, and I've always just wanted – I love talking about movies. I love arguing, and I get to do both those things here. So thank you guys for facilitating that. Thank you, Jacoby, for being such a great champion, great competitor, great opponent. And, that's all.
All right. Well, Kirk, the next time we'll see you play is going to be at the year-end event. I'm just going to throw out some of the names that you could potentially see at said event. Some of the people you could see are your Robert Parkers, your Adelaide Spences, Cameron Holtzmans, your Nazario Montenegros, your Nico Suave Rigolis. Any names jumping out to you?
Robert's one of my few losses here, so I definitely like to get another shot at him. But all those guys, a lot of those names I've played before, and they gave me great matches, so they'll all be worthy competitors. And the thing about them is everybody's going to bring something different to the table, so I'll be excited to see what they bring.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kirk, again, congratulations. Great match, great tournament run in general. Just a fantastic season so far. And honestly, one of the best records in the league. You're now I believe you are now 9-1 with 3 KOs. So an absolutely dominant record. So great job, Kirk. We will see you at the end of the year. Boatman, final thoughts on the match.
This was a really good match. I think that, these are 2 very different styles of debaters. And I think that always makes for a more interesting match. I think, Jacoby hit for more of the populist argument where Kirk would sometimes go a little more niche, but then it would kind of be the other way around, like the boss baby argument. So I think overall, just a really impressive match.
Absolutely. Cody, what about you? Final thoughts?
The match lived up to the hype. Again, that's why I can't believe there was a time in these communities where we let one judge handle all this. Like, that's just insane to me, looking back. But now, Jacoby, so this is where the roles flip, right? Kirk's been able to go on that run, play a lot of matches, and get ready. Jacoby has the opportunity next season to do the exact same thing. And what happens with Kirk taking time off and not having to debate, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think Jacoby was the champion for a reason. I think Jacoby tackles, does so much preparation, so much studying. We knew that from his trivia days. We know that from his debate days. He'll put, regardless what it is, he'll put the most effort into it to make sure that he'll put on the best performance possible. And the scary thing is now Kirk gets 3 categories in a title match. the man is strategic. He's the reason he's like my second host for YLS. He's very opinionated, very hard-headed, and it works perfectly in debate. So yeah, I'm excited. I think Jacoby versus Kirk can, when that happens, because I'm just convinced it will happen, it will be better than this match. I think they will both learn stuff from this match and have a slobber knocker next time, whatever that means. I've heard it said.
I've heard it said as well. I believe that is a Brooklyn Vale joint, as they say. So,
or Nico, I don't know.
Whoever. But guys, that is going to do it for us today at Fanzone. Thank you for watching the match, and continue to watch the stuff we have going on with Mayhem. Coming up in the next couple videos, we've got the Fandom teams and singles and the Warzone teams and singles belts all on the line. So lots of great matches coming up there. So be sure to check out the rest of the videos, and we will see you guys real soon with more Fanzone. Thank you. Good night.
That's my bad. I was sending a tweet.